See, promise is a very big word. Everybody does that, and it's normally broken. So it is the walking the talk is more important than the talk of the talk.
What's important is what the team really thinks, how they are designing, what type of quality product they are choosing, and can we impact them to really make that difference in choice. And that's what Ashar 2.0 is about. How do we ensure that just the brand ethos of what brand Ashar stands for, is conveyed out to the market and conveyed correctly? And that's when we decided, okay, let's get everything that we have kind of absorbed and learned from thought trains and everything that you worked on with the legend first, and then we said let's amalgamate the two and come up with this Ashar 2.0 and kind of identify what our niche is. First, let us be aware, and then hopefully we can make everyone else aware as well that, look, this is what we stand for, this is what makes us different, and these are the things that we really care about being in the real estate space. And you headed that exercise for us with taking Ashar and Promises Delivered. And I think one of the initial things was we didn't want to change anything that Aishick, you had developed and was so strong with the brand. And how did you go about that? I know we did an exercise where you developed the personality of the brand, and how did you come up with identifying what personality would suit?
This was a very intense program because for us, we had the challenge that we were sure that we were not going to change Promises Delivered. We were sure we were not looking at the logo differently. So how do we actually therefore define what this entire thing was? The Promises Delivered, what it meant. So our challenge was to first say what Promises Delivered was and how would we actually synergize everybody's viewpoint onto everything. We realized that from speaking to the team, the senior team, and including you, that there were 4 or 5 big ideas that were there. When we met the people in your office, we discovered a few things that was differentiating Ashar versus the rest. One, like I said, was this entire honesty bit. We were honest about our feedback on any part, whether it's good, whether it's bad. There was feedback about everything, and we got it recorded. Nobody was shying away. Nobody was pretending to pander to the cause, saying that, oh, the boss might not be happy. Second part I felt was transparency, because there was a very, very transparent ecosystem that I felt that was going on. And the third, which actually led to a large amount of our development of strategy as well, was authenticity. But authenticity, that we are Ashar, we are like this, and unabashedly authentic is what we are. We are not going to be somebody else just because it is convenient. So those 3 were the core values that we got in terms of the structure. We also felt in the context of things, what we were trying to do from the projects that we are building is you are actually giving 2 things as benefit. Of course, the houses were there. Of course, the amenities were there. One was a sense of optimism. It's about new tomorrow. It's a new thing. So it's about, the entire thing of having that joy and living together. And the second part was care. That the care part came from the delivery of what is required and not what is expected. But here it wasn't that. We were giving them the things that they could use. If there is a walkway, we could use the walkway. If there was a gym, we could use the gym. If it was a swimming pool, it was not a plunge pool pretending to be a swimming pool. So those kind of things were very important. So we're taking care of the requirement of what is happening. So Promises Delivered was not about transaction anymore. Promises Delivered came from authenticity, from honesty, from transparency to provide optimism, joy, and care for the people. So it kind of, the strategy kind of wrote itself from there, because it was very evident that there were 2 parts that were very important. One part is expertise, and expertise But expertise is a bedrock of a lot of categories. So it cannot be the only reason why people have brands. So expertise leads to a certain kind of brand, which is called a sage brand. It's like Google, where you kind of provide things. We were that, but we were not delivering on only expertise. We were delivering on something different. We were delivering with care. We were delivering with authenticity. We were delivering honesty, and we felt that it was a very innocent brand in a world of a lot of pretentious brands. Here is a brand that is trying to say, this is what we are, and this is what we'll provide. I thought that made a large amount of the look feel, if you look at it, from the perspective of whether it's the manifesto, whether it is the entire tonality of the brand, or whether it is the visual language of the brand, it comes from there. It comes from all these 4 or 5 words coming together and therefore building a look. So if you look at the visual language of the warmthness, we always said that it should be about the words escaping me, but it is about the sun being
Golden hour.
the golden hour, exactly. The golden hour of the look feel, which makes it warm, which makes it very relatable. And the people shot were candid. It was not somebody who was posing with each other. It was a very candid, expression that is captured at that point of time with families together, or friends together, or kids together. That brings a real authentic imagery back. And we discussed that and said that probably in a world where everything is unreal, real will have a better chance to succeed. So that was the basic essence of why we went, and to actually take the line from the manifesto itself, which is why what we promise, we deliver unfailingly every time. Because our name means that. And our name emotionally means that, not just about the name.
Aishick, I want to come back to you. And while we talk about this brand, right, the brands are invariably built through the projects that we do, because that's the delivery aspect of it. And that's something that we engage with day in, day out. And you've been with us from when we were doing single towers to today when we're doing gated communities in 11 acres, 12 acres, even projects like Navroz and Legend. And how do you ensure that parent brand and the sanctity of that parent brand is also kind of stemming into these projects that we do on a daily basis? And how do we ensure that communication and brand building of those projects also has this parent brand in mind? What is the rationale?
This brand has come to an emotional platform. Earlier it was very technical. You're just showing project, elevation. But now the whole story which we have formed, that needs to go out, is what I feel. Because today there are very, very few brands, maybe 2 or 3 brands today, who are playing this brand level communication, which is touching the customer, which is making the brand bigger day by day in terms of perception. And only those people can play who has proved this whole 20, 30, 40 years. Now that we have proven ourselves, we have delivered things like film, what you have done or what we have done together, things like the whole campaign. So that is now talking to the customers and passing that warmth, which I have personally felt in those 10 years. Your customers will not meet you every day. They will just meet you once or twice while buying a home. But that feeling needs to be transferred to one and everyone. And now we should talk about the emotion, the attachment of all the small things, values. And that's how the people will perceive the brand as a much bigger brand in times to come, which has already started. Because since we are only into real estate, we hear earlier when we used to say we work for Ashar 20 years back, okay. But now when we say, the whole attitude towards the brand has changed because of deliveries, because in every front, if you see, the journey in last 10 years, Ashar has taken a big leap. The biggest is the product design, is one very big aspect, I feel. Product design, because again, elevation or project kis tarike ka hai, that also defines your brand, in which segment you are in. So Ashar, it was in a mid segment when we started. But now I would say it is in an upper mid and a premium segment both. Upper mid segment is the geographic area of Mulunds and Thanis and that. In these areas also, like for example, what you have done in Kalwa, nobody has done. You're on a premium segment. In Mulund, what you're doing for Titan, it is a premium segment. In Merak, it is a premium segment. So that brand has already evolved. And evolved due to so many things. Now you have collected them. And you have made a brilliant story with the look and feel, which as I said, the customer don't think so much. They just see, wow, yeah, this ad is like amazing. I want this product. So that has come with that, golden hour graphics and the treatment, which is so fresh, which is so thoughtful, which looks premium, and with your product story, which nowadays all your products are like superstars, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when you said everyone had a different point of view, and you came back to me that day and you were like, can you summarize what you really want, because everyone has a very different point of view. And I remember what I told you. I told you that I wanted to feel like a warm hug for my
Yes.
from my grandfather and
Yeah.
my grandmother, and that's what this brand means to me, and
Absolutely.
that's what I wanted to mean to everyone else who's associated with the brand. So I think all of these values that you spoke about represent exactly that, right? It's the warmth, it's almost that intimacy in association, right? It's not just a brand that's okay, you're just talking to some representative. At every point in time, you're talking to someone who's going to ensure that your needs are met, your problem is solved, and who's also going to promise you what is actually possible.
That's true.
Because that's what your grandparents do, right? They're not going to tell you something wrong.
Yeah.
They'll tell you what it is as it is,
Correct.
whether it's possible or not. And if it's not possible, it's not.
It's not possible. That's
It's not.
Correct.
But it's about the fact that you actually went out and told them, look, this is not possible.
absolutely.
And what is possible, I'll do to the best of my ability.